perhaps your name is not officially on the program, but you want to stand up and give words or reflections about what Michael meant to you. Now is your time. If you can line up over here to my right. If you can line up over here to my right, if you want to say something. Now, I'm going to put this disclaimer out there. After so many people have gotten in this line, don't come back and say now you want to say something. Right? Because we're going to still be able to get along. I don't want y'all eyeballing me later on. All right, we got a line going. Okay, we're going to keep it going. Now here's the other part to this. If you're in this line, we ask that you keep your comments to 2 minutes or less, because we do have a preacher here that's going to eulogize him. So once again, if you're in this line, we ask that you keep your comments to 2 minutes or less. You will know when your time has lapsed, because Jason over here on the electric organ is going to play some soft music. That means rapid. And if I have to sit down and tap you, that means rapid and sit down, okay? Again, we're going to all be on the same page. I don't want no problems after this. I just want to make sure, because we were given specific instructions by Patrice on what she wanted done. So everybody is already in the line. Nobody else is going to get up. 2 minutes or less, okay? Everybody in the line? All right, come on, Sean. Can y'all say amen? Amen. Amen. My name is Sean Michelle Sunshine Gerhardt. I am Michael's, or George, as you guys know him. I am his second oldest child. I am the wild, feral nomad child. Nomad. My dad used to call me a nomad all the time. Apples don't fall too far from the tree now, do they? Let's see. My dad used to always tell me I'd probably grow up to be a truck driver. I cuss like one, but I don't have a job as a truck driver. My dad trauma bonded with music. Music has this way of making you feel a certain type of way. It speaks to us. It makes us happy, and it also can make you sad. But it also lets you know that we're alive. And I know y'all know what I'm talking about. My dad was a sweet man. He loved to tell stories. I used to drive around with him and move furniture with my dad, and I used to always tell him, I'm just a girl. Why am I doing this job for $20? And his reply would be, well, you have a man's tendencies, so get up in the damn truck and get at the other end and get that damn furniture out of the truck. My dad was a fragile flower bomb, just like me. I heard someone in the flower shop say, why do people give people flowers? Flowers are not supposed to last. Their job is to help us stay in the present. The flowers grow, they bloom, they thrive, and then they leave us. We're all going to have to leave here. So please cherish your moments, because I wish I would have been a little nicer. My dad lived his life the way he wanted to. He was a rock star. The last thing he told me was that the spaceship was about to land. If you know my dad, he said weird stuff. But this was while he was in his dying phases. He told me, he's like, the spaceship's about to land and come and get him. Well, I hope he's having a good flight in the universe. And I just have to say this, men, or just people in general, I encourage you to take care of yourselves and go to the doctor and go to your dentist, and you can still be a rock star and do these things. Take care of your livers. It's called milk thistle. I don't know if y'all ever heard of it. Then if you drink a lot, you need to take that vitamin. My dad would be very pleased with everybody here today. I'm gonna love and I'm gonna miss my dad. Thank you.
there. My name is Polly. I'm George's neighbor. We lived there for 30-some years next door to him. And his garage would go up, the music would go on, and LV would come out. LV would roam the neighborhood, and everybody loved LV, and especially him. And I've noticed LV a little thinner now. And Patricia said, well, George isn't giving him that table food anymore, so poor little LV. But he helped me through a very tragic time in my life when I lost my son, and he was there, his whole family, with chicken and food and everything at my house. And he said, you're going to get through it, Polly. You're going to get through it. So somehow it's been 14 years almost, and he was my little light in my life. And I thank him, and I used to go to some of his music gigs that he had, and he was there with the paper signing up everybody to sing next, and he really enjoyed that, and he will truly be missed, truly. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm one of Mike's oldest friends. I've been knowing Mike for about a little bit over 45 years. Met Mike a long time ago. I tried to steal his car battery because my battery had died. I was trying to get it. Couldn't get it out of his car. So when I met him, I told him. And after that, Mike became a very, very close friend, almost like a brother. So I just want to tell Davion, Tracy, all his kids, family, cousins, Carol, everybody, Pam. My love for you guys are just like a family, and I miss Mike. So you guys take care. If you need me, give me a call.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Drew Price. Been friends with Mike and the family for 30 years. Beautiful family. Mike was always that quiet, cool, just like a bass player. Many people think like in bands that piano or lead guitar is what's driving the band, but it's always that bass in the background, boom, 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 that keeps the band in flow. Some of the coolest guys in the band typically are the bass players. If you just want to take an example other than Mike, look at Earth, Wind & Fire. You see how Raheem White is cooking that bass and always bouncing and grooving around. So that was Mike. He was a few words. We talked about his music quite a bit. I kind of regret that I never saw him play live. I have his music CDs and everything that'll serve as memories to me. But, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. And whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. So Mike is in a much better place than all of us. And so for a brief moment, I want to speak to my sister. Sister. And what do you say? Brother. We've been calling each other sisters and brothers in love for like over 30 years. And she is a true sister. And sometimes even in your darkest moments, you can be inspirations to others. And that's what she and the family has been to my family, to me. I would come by in the past days to lift her spirits up and that funny music. I'm there. I would come by to lift her spirits up, and through all of that, she would lift my spirits up. And through some of your darkest moments, family, you can be inspiration to others. And that's what you guys have shown me and my family. And I am so ever blessed and thankful for having you in my life. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing?
All right, Steve.
My name is Steve Riddle. Many of you guys know me. There's a lot of musicians like myself that are here today. And it's a testament to just what an incredible musician and person George Michael Webster was. I was honored to have him in my band and to play a lot of music with him. And I just want to share a couple things really quickly. When I think of George Michael Webster, I think of two things mainly, and I think a lot of things, but two things mainly. The first thing, my favorite thing that he would do, we'd be playing a gig, and he would get in, sometime we'd get in some kind of weird musical situation or something, we'd pull ourselves out of it, and he would walk away like this, and he would go, "We're musicians. That's what we do." And it was, just like, of course, and I just love that about him, because it was, the thing about Mike was, I know we all know he was a rock star, but Mike was, to me, as a musician, lifelong musician, Mike was a man that was serious about his craft. He loved the craft of music, and he had a lot of respect for it. And he was just a professional to me. I don't care if it was a big festival you're playing or if it's a jam in the smallest dive bar. He was a professional. He honored the craft of music. And that was an inspiration to me as a younger musician that really looked up to the older guys in the scene. And the other thing I want to share really briefly about him is I love that we're sharing a lot of the Word today. And one of the things that it says in the Word is that if a man wants to have friends, he must be friendly. And that was the thing about your dad and your husband. He was a friendly guy. And he used to say he was a people person, and he was right. He was a people person. I could always count wherever we were going to go play that 10 minutes of being in the place, he was best friends with 10 people that had just walked in the door. I say it was a lot like my uncle. You could send him to the grocery store for milk, and he'd be best friends with the cashier and the guy that bagged the groceries and the person that put the carts out. So he just had a gift, and he just loved people. And to me, I'll tell you this as a musician, you see a lot of talented people. There's no shortage of talented musicians. There is a very big shortage in this world of good people. And if you combine the two, man, you're a rock star in my book. So he was a rock star. I don't know if he knew how much I loved him, but I loved the man. I truly loved him so much. And so I was honored to know him. Thank you so much.
I met George 10 years ago over at the American Legion down at 15 in Oracle. He was subbing for a bass player. I was playing with Hebe and Caesar, and we were going through bass players like crazy. And yeah, Hebe's up to me and he goes, got a new guy coming in tonight. Okay. We're on the stage, equipment's in, we're hooking up cables and everything. So here comes this guy walking up to the 2 steps to get on the stage. A lot of you have played there. And he's wearing a white apron all the way down, cook's apron. So I'm thinking, as they do there, because they serve food, this guy's coming up to get the band's orders. I give him my customary, no thanks, I already ate. 4-hour gig, 7 to 11. And he's looking at me. And I notice him looking at me a little bit hard. And I said, no thanks, man, I'm good, thank you. He looks at me and goes, huh? I'm in the band tonight. It was favorite memory of him. I reached with him on stage. It's apropos, I'm set up next to the keyboard there. He was a good player. He was a monster player. The hardest instrument to play in a band is bass, period. It's a thankless job. It's not a glamorous job. But as someone said to me 50 years ago, a player named Steve Tavoloni, Riverside, doing really well, he said, never forgot it, your band is as good as your bass player. That's the bottom, that's the foundation, that's what you build on. Any band, any gig I did with George, it was covered. He was there. And he was such a nice guy about it. I mean, he was a solid gentleman. Low-key, soft-spoken. He spoke more with a look than he did with words. I'm gonna miss him. Thank you.
All right, Dave.
First, giving honor to God. George Michael Webster and I grew up in Springfield, Ohio. A little old town that is between Columbus and Dayton, Ohio. I've known George since we were kids. When I say kids, I mean before we were even teenagers. And not only did I know George Michael Webster, I knew James Bell, who lived across the street from George. I knew Chuck James, who lived out on the corner from George. I remember when George played in the band with the Oswalds. So I've known George Michael Webster quite a long time. I can't remember whether or not he came out to California first or if I came to California first. But we connected even after we got out here, and we've been friends since we were kids. So George Michael Webster, I remember when he brought Patrice over to my house when I lived in Inglewood. And she's such a beautiful lady. Beautiful heart, beautiful personality. But George Michael Webster, like the other gentleman said, wherever he went, he met everybody and he was a friend to everyone. Thank you.
My name is Chuck James, and this is the first time I've seen my sister since 1971. That's the first time we saw each other. We've been on the phone. Yeah, we're going to be there. But I'm from California originally, and my family moved to Springfield, Ohio in 1965, August 21st. And when we arrived August 22nd, I was sitting on the porch that morning, and I saw this guy coming towards me, walking real slow, because there was a little neighborhood store right next to the house that we were in. And he walked down, I kind of looked at him, he looked at me, and we started talking, and it was Mikey. So I knew him as Mikey. And we ended up, of course, going to high school together, lived on the same block, same neighborhood. And this brother and I, we both went to Vietnam, came back. I stayed in Ohio for a bit and then moved back to California. And one evening, I'm living in Rialto, and I heard a knock on the door, and I'm like, man, who's knocking on my door this time of night? And I looked out, and there was Mikey. And he had just gotten married, and he was going to his honeymoon. And since that time, we've connected at his gigs, and I was at his birthday party, and then more recently after that, James and I, Bishop brother, and I and another brother of classmates that recently passed, we met. He was out here, and he hadn't seen Mikey in 50 years. So we all met and went down to Corona and had lunch or dinner together. So he's been a blessing in my life. And the brother that I've known today is the same brother I met in 1965. He's a good brother. And I watched him when I first moved to Springfield. He was playing the drums. And then somewhere along the line, he picked up the bass, and of course the rest is history. But he is a good brother. He's a good brother, and I love him. All right, my brother. Thank you so much.
My name is Bishop James Bell, pastor of Grace Fellowship Ministry Church in Moreno Valley. And I don't know who has known Mike the longest, but I met Mike when I was 6 years old. We moved on Liberty Street in Springfield, Ohio. We were, when I say friends as kids, I can remember about every Sunday after church, I'd go to Mike's house and he had the Roy Rogers, the whole ranch. He had the horse, he had the Jeep, he had the barn, the truck, he had the whole ranch in his bedroom. And I would go and we'd play cowboys and Indians. But Mike has always been a people person. As my wife and I were coming to the service on today, I remember the nickname we gave him. We were kids, we used to call him a webhead. And he was just a great guy. One of the things that he would always tell me, even after we connected when we came to California, was as kids we used to play football and baseball. We played football on the street in front of Mike's house, baseball in the alley behind Mike's house. And he used to say how he would be so upset because his mother wouldn't let him come out and play because she'd make him practice music. At that time, he's playing the drums. And he really got his start on the piano. And then he went to the drums. And then as he began to develop a passion for music, one of the guys in one of the groups he was playing in left his guitar at Mike's house. And Mike picked up the guitar and started playing the guitar. But I do want to say that I'm thankful for Facebook, because that's where we were able to really connect. My family surprised me with Mike and Chuck on my 75th birthday and had them come, and it was a surprise that they both came. And I was supposed to come to his 75th birthday, and I was recovering from hip replacement surgery, so I couldn't come. I called him and let him know I wasn't going to be there. And of course, Chuck told you about the time we met for dinner just before Christmas. But then about a month or so ago, I believe it was, I was talking to Mike, and maybe it was 2 months ago. He was telling me about the surgery and everything. And we talked for about 2 hours on the telephone when we were kids, with things we used to do growing up together. But he was a guy that could connect people and get them together. When we talked to him, he said, when we were having our dinner, let's call Leah. We called Leah. And he was just that kind of guy. To the family, I did meet you over the on Facebook. And so I'm just so happy that he had what he always wanted, a family that he could bring up, raise up together. I know about the grandchildren, the birthdays and all the things. And I just want to say, I know you're going to miss your husband, your father, your grandfather, your brother, whatever the connection was. But I can say Mike Webster, George Michael Webster, was a great man. And we thank God for him. And if you don't mind, as I walk by, can I just shake each one of your hands, because Mike talked so much about you. On Facebook, we'd always end our Facebook sayings by saying Liberty Street forever, because that's where we were raised. I just want to shake your hands because I never formally met you. I just want you to know, certainly praying for you.
Hi. Last year sometime, Mike and I were at a gathering like this, remembering the good times that the person that had passed had, and we were joking with each other about who would come to each other's funeral, and he swore up and down that more people would come to mine than would come to his. And as I look around this room today, I see there's more people here than I even know. And that's kudos to Mike. Mike and I met about in 2013 when I formed a band called Shadow Blue, and Mike joined with Tony and me, and we formed a trio, and we soon enlisted Tony's wife, Faye, and Mike stuck with that for quite a while. And what I wanted to say about that and other occasions was that in addition to being a leader, he was a good leader. He was a good member. He was a good team member for a band. And he even helped me tag an ending to one of my songs. And every time we play that song, I think of Mike. And that's it. That's, Mike, good man, and we'll miss him. Thank you.
All right, Bobby.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dominic Rocha, and George and I were bandmates together. I got to know him over the last 4 or 5 years, and I would tell you, he's made a big impact on me. I looked up to him like I have a lot of mentors in my life, and I can say he was one of them. Definitely, he was a friend. And I'll simply say this: that bottom that he provided in music that we played together was something I needed. I mean, I was very fortunate to cross paths with him. When I first got to know him, I would call him Mr. Webster, just out of a show of respect. And then as I got to know him, I called him George. Most of you call him Mike. I learned later why. But that's awesome. I still know him as George. And Patrice, it was an honor for me to work with him in the last 4 or 5 years. I'm honored to call him my friend, my bandmate, and he'll always be in my heart.
Hi, I'm not going to try the stairs because I'm emotional and the heels, and I'm going to fall. So I know Papa Mike for over 25 years. I'm the best friend of one of his daughters, Tashi, and I knew Papa Mike was sick. I did not go visit intentionally because I don't believe in goodbyes, and I couldn't bring myself to say goodbye. But I promised that I would be at his celebration. And so when I was laying out my dress, I was next and said, "You sure you want to wear that bright dress?" And I said, "It's not your party. It's Papa Mike's party." And when I would come over the house and he'd be in the garage, he would say, "There's my little baby in there, smiling like the sunshine." So I said, "Papa Mike, this dress is 10 years old and I don't really fit anymore. It's tight. But I'm gonna wear it because you always said my smile looked like sunshine." So there you have this bright dress. When I learned Papa Mike passed away, I said a prayer for Mama Patrice, Sean, Davion, Tashi, his beautiful grandchildren. And I looked up in heaven and I told my dad, "Daddy, be ready. Because Papa Mike is on his way, but guess what? He's bringing his guitar." Thank you.
My name is Talia Sanders. I was a neighbor in Rialto to Mike for since, well, my son was 40, so 36 years we've been friends and known this family. My husband Mike also traveled with Mike Webster to deliver furniture, and the best story I ever had of them get together in their little trails. They were just got them delivering a couch up in Big Bear somewhere with a lot of churns, and Mike kept pulling, Mike Webster kept pulling, my husband kept pushing, and kept pushing, and he's like, we're not even moving up the steps yet. They were just pulling and pushing. They're trying to figure out how they're going to get up this awkward step. Well, as they're all done and they're driving down the road, Mike Webster had seen a Weber barbecue that looked almost brand new on the side of the road. So my husband goes, grab it. You never know. So he had that thing, his barbecue. As far as I know, all the time in Rialto on that little square Weber barbecue. And at his birthday party recently, he had told my husband Mike, I still use that barbecue, you know? So I'm going to miss him a lot because he was like a mentor to my husband. Your family means so much to us. Well, that's it. I love you all.
My name is Frederick Carter. I'm so happy. My city is very well represented. I was born and raised in Springfield, Ohio. And I first heard about Mike when I was in high school. We go way back to the 60s. Matter of fact, back then I was in a little band, played saxophone, and I heard people talking back and forth, man, you're Mike Webster. I always call him Mike. That dude is tough. And so, you know, the Lord watches over all of us. We had good times and some tough times there. Like a lot of young kids did stupid things, got in trouble. But not serious trouble. That's what I mean, the Lord is watching over us. Out of high school, went to the military a few years, Vietnam, and that's why I say the Lord watches over us. We're still here. And I ended up coming here, probably had the same kind of dreams as Mike. Yeah, we're going to come here, we're going to make it, we're going to do good, we're going to have a family. That's what I did, right around 74. Drove out here, didn't know anybody, no job, no nothing. After a few years, you know, you still keep in contact with folks from your hometown. And someone said, man, you know Mike's up there? He playing out there. I said, you're kidding me. So I'm not sure when Mike came out here, probably a few years after I got here. So anyway, I called him on the phone, looked him up, and such great times we had just talking, and the very few times we saw each other. I went to his place one time, he went to my place one time. And I think a good lesson from that is for everyone. You have loved ones, you have special people. Tell them you love them, visit them. But my biggest regret with Brother Mike is I kept telling him, yeah, Mike, I'm going to see you. I never did end up seeing him. But every time we talked to each other, we talked about the hometown, talked about how we were doing. And Mike struck me, for nothing else, just a naturally people person, friendly, warm guy. It really hurt when Brother Mike passed. I really love Brother Mike. The Springfield people over there, you know what I'm talking about. I got a brother right now that lives on Liberty as I speak. My mom, a couple siblings, grew up on Fair Street. Springfield folks know what's happening with that. Oh, one last thing. Mike was from the South End. I was from the North End. The South End, much more diverse, much more talent. I looked at the yearbook the other day. There weren't a whole lot of other ethnics between white and black in Springfield in the 50s and 60s. Counted 14 of us in the yearbook out of maybe 400 students. South had a whole lot more diversity. I'm going to say talent, musically, especially. But every time I think of Mike, just a big smile, because that brother was a good, good brother. Down to earth, love people, and he's my homie in Springfield.
Thank you. Tribute to a beloved blues bassist, George Michael Webster. I'm deeply saddened by the loss of such a sweet, kind soul and extraordinary musician. A truly great bass player whose love for music was matched only by his devotion to his family. Music wasn't just his passion, it was his very life. And he poured his heart into every note he played. It was always a genuine treat and an honor to share the stage with him, to feel the groove he created, and witness the joy he brought to every performance. He possessed a rare and special gift for his art, and he was deeply loved by so many in our blues family. He will be dearly missed, tremendously so. My heartfelt condolences go out to his Patrice, Davion, sister, family, and friends in this painful time. May you rest in gentle peace. I'll see you when I see you, my friend. Let the good times roll and the band play on and on. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Hagen, and my condolences to the family who lost this great man. I am kind of here to represent the Blues and Fries contingency, which would be the Route 66 Roadhouse Jam session that took place every Thursday night for a million years and still continues once a month on the first Fridays. So I'm a fellow bass player. So George and I never really worked together that much because usually he was subbing for me if I couldn't make my gig, or he was playing some other place around town and I was playing with the other bands that I was working with. We didn't spend that much time together because we were both working most of the time. But what I know of George, when we called him George, was that we just always had a good time when we saw each other. I loved watching him play because he'd get right up on the drum. And the weirdest thing about it is we didn't know each other that well, except through music. And I would be in places in Los Angeles, like mentioned here, the Barbara Morrison Performing Arts Center, the Living Room, which is unfortunately no longer open. But I would walk in and there would be George. I'm like, I didn't know you knew Bobby Warren. I didn't know you knew these people. So it was just so lovely because he would just be everywhere all the time. So George, I will miss you. I don't know who I'm going to call to sub for me now. Your not being here has left a huge hole in the bass playing community. So I know God appreciates having you there to hold down the groove. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for everyone who came to give reflections. Some of you all had me over there Googling some stuff. The Bishop, when you talked about the Roy Rogers playset, I was like, what is that? And then Mike had all 84 pieces that went to it.